Hello, everybody. This is Cindy Martin Quay and Dr. Francine Chenoweth Richardson. We promise that we'll always be here, and today we are here despite the way how we sound. Don't listen to our voices because both of us are sick, but we actually do not want to miss being here with you today. So there are lots of important things going on in our country today. Some people might say this too is Liberia. Some people might say this is politics. Some people might say this is the majority politics. This is legislative politics. Is it? And that's the question that we have for you today. We share a different view on what's going on in our country, and we'll present that to you as the conversation unfolds. So, welcome to the show. Please share our show. Today is Sunday. I know you have lots of things to do, so we won't keep you for too long. But please share our show and let's talk about the happenings in Liberia. You send it?
Yes, Doc. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here again, Doc, to be hanging out with you, to talk to our people, to do some enlightenment. We enlighten them, they enlighten us by calling in or just writing a comment below the conversation. We're here today to ask you in Liberia, because when we were growing up, maybe because we grew up at a different time where neighbors watch out for us, where you didn't tell your sister you're telling a lie, but you told your sister you're telling story, which mean the same thing. It's just a more flowery words that you use. Where neighbor watch out for each other. I'm talking about way before the war, where Liberia were a hospitable place where foreigners would come for the country, and you would open your door and let them in, give them food until the bottom came off. So we're here to ask you. Thank you, sweetheart. We're here to ask you today. On your stand, we have our stand, just as Doc said. Are there principles or rules that guides our leaders' decisions, and how is that derived? For us as professional women and as mothers, as patriots, we have a different standard. We're both into serving people, and because we're into service people, where we do face to face with young people, developing young minds and sending them into the word. They're in our professions, where she at a higher level, middle grade, especially where the children are just being brought up. Um, there are rules that we have to work within. There's certain confines, there's certain lifestyle that we have to have. Even though we are working, when we leave work, our public persona or the way we carry ourselves, our disposition have to be a certain way. Okay, there's certain things that we want to do, but we cannot do because our professional ethics and beside our moral standing dictates that. So we like to know, and then we'll delve into the lawmakers, the House of Legislatures in Liberia on both ends, and then what occurred yesterday at the opening of the Chief Justice daughter's park. So we want to hear from you. I'm gonna post the number here after we talk, so we hear your view. Let's understand where we are. I actually want to know the mindset of Liberia when it comes to morality. What is our standard of morality? Is there a certain limit or certain things that applies to everyone? Doc?
You know, it was a wonderful story that you opened with when you talked about, how we used to not say you lie, and we used to say telling story, to our friends and family members. In fact, even to strangers, you couldn't tell nobody that you're lying. And I have vivid recollection, you see me, where you remember how when teachers left the class and they used to leave one person responsible to take the name down of everyone who
Mm-hmm.
behaved or talked. You had to write the name down. And even though there was a
Yeah,
class president, but
I
sometimes
do that now in my class.
you do
I
that
do that
still.
now in my class.
Okay, that's wonderful to know that transition is still happening. So I one day my science teacher, who was very tough on us. Anybody know the late Lydia Cullen? She was not an easy science professor, a teacher. I mean, we could hear her. She was. I don't. Something tells me that she was trained a little bit outside of Liberia, or maybe it was the teacher of the era. But I mean, that lady, when she tell us like the definition of chlorophyll, you better know that definition of chlorophyll. You gotta know what zoology is. It was just like she was teaching us at a completely different level. And I think I was in the fourth or fifth grade. I can't remember. the time, and she used to wear these shoes where when she's walking, we could tell that she was coming. Like cop, 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 cop.
that's
You
that's
know?
that's me in my hall. Everybody know when I'm coming. That's
Yes,
me in
I
my
know
hall.
you hear those heels. That's how she used to wear. And she had this kind of rash voice, like just you see the, I know your voice is so unique, but her voice, I mean, she was a smoker too, so we
Oh.
kind of knew that it was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
going, I'm leaving the class right now, and I'm gonna leave friends. I'm gonna leave Francine. I'm gonna leave special in charge of the classroom. And anybody who talk here should write any time. Will be to the office. I go in the office. I'll be right back. So I'm like, okay, as young as I was, and at this time, also my cousin, the late Serena Chenoweth, who died in the B.W. Harris crash. Many of you heard of that crash.
Hmm.
Multiple years. This happened when I was very young, but she was in Beaumont. She lived with me. She was my cousin, but she was like a sister to me. My mother raised her until she left to go to Monrovia. In fact, I met her when my eyes were first opened. That was the sister that I met. So my cousin Serena decided, oh, her cousin is the name writer, the person who's going to be in charge of the class.
Right.
So she thought she was at liberty to behave,
To misbehave. Oh, yeah. She didn't
misbehave,
know.
yeah,
Hmm.
to talk. And I wrote her name down, and everybody in class
I
was,
can see your face, your
yes,
eye back into my daughter Alyssa. Mommy, but you did it.
yes, um, and everybody was shocked, in class. And it's so funny. Counter Yankee said he knew her very well. Yeah, if you went to be there, Harris, that's where she last attended. But anyway, yeah. So I wrote her name down, and everybody was, "No way, you got already your own cousin. Now how y'all go home? Cause we walk. You know how back home everybody walked. You walk
Everybody
home.
walk on. Yep.
Yeah, you walk home. How y'all walk home again? What do you go to ever? She'll report you and go home." And I said, "Well, she made noise. She caused noise. She was talking to her friend. So the teacher left me in charge. So I will write her name down." She was shocked. But that is the environment that we grew up in. There were certain rules, like everyone parents kind of kept an eye on you that if you misbehave,
Yep.
they will discipline you, whether you were right or wrong. You are
Right.
fool. Of course, I will report my teacher, to report my neighbor to who. And when you ask Cindy about, I want to know the Liberian people's mentality. What are you thinking now? And so you got to consider: are we still thinking in this manner in which you can go right your family member, no matter whether this person is close to you, you can give them advice, you can tell them exactly what's on your mind, or are you going to keep your thoughts and then publicly um uh not disagree with them, publicly disagree with them, and then in the background you chums with them and stuff like that. I don't believe in that kind of two-faced type behavior, you know. Um, and I'm so happy that I have a friend like Yusini who is just straight up, you know, and I'm sure she knows that. Yusini, I don't
I'm
agree with
here.
you. Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I say, Yusini, we don't agree on
Mhm.
this, okay? And she straight up, she says, Doc, they won't part. I agree with you,
I agree with you.
I love you as a sister, but we
Yep.
do not we will not see eye to eye on this. How about if we talk about this a little bit more? But that is the relationship we are
Yes.
actually want to model for people. We want you to see that relationship, that it's okay for us to disagree. It's okay for you to take a
Yes.
position. All right, as long as it's your position. That's the beauty of tolerating diversity. So I said I want to turn it back to you. I just wanted to say that opening. And another thing about the mentality of people, if I can just add, I thought about
Hmm.
this today, and I know you were with me actually. There were times when we're in Liberia, Monrovia,
Hmm.
and we were watching interactions between how people were talking, and there was always this abusive type nature, like yelling, screaming.
Yelling and screaming at each other. Yeah.
And it was always we were like,
Talking at each other.
yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
And I think there were a couple of times see myself will wonder, well, what is happening here? Why are they talking like that? Something that people could really just have a conversation about. But it turned out that yelling and screaming is kind of, I learned, it's what makes people move. Like if you
Right.
drive your car, because you remember also I was wondering, I said, this city is so loud. Why is everybody just blowing their horn?
Blowing the horn.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
because if you just beep your horn, like, or people don't. obey that. You kind of have to press on the horn, and then you got to start screaming out of your window, move on the road, move on the road, before
Right.
people would. And it's funny. So some guy, he was driving. I was telling, and he said, people are traumatized, so they don't hear the horn. That's what's the
Right.
explanation. But thinking about the mentality, that's what I wanted to share with you. So I just want to share you with those two things. The days when you know we used to tell people exactly how we feel. We're not two faced or double faced. We're not come out in public and say one thing and go in the back and say another. And also
Right.
the mentality of what we deal with. Is it this cycle of suppression that we as social psychologists know that if you've been oppressed and abused, you sort of get stuck in that mode. I mean, in this country, it takes about 7 times for a woman who's abused to actually leave the person who victimized her abuser. So go
Mhm.
ahead, let me.
Yeah, and she will go to any length, especially that's all she knows to protect her, and that's what we see. And I think yesterday, either this morning or yesterday evening, that I called you after your show and said that that was good because you brought us some selling point on the show yesterday, and people I hear like so lawmakers coming in to ask you. Where were you saying? What you said? What you said? And this is where the conversation we have today. This is what drive this conversation that we're about to have, folks. Because if right now we have a constitutional problem. Hey Nelson, I will talk to you later, sweetheart. We have a constitutional crisis going on in Liberia, right? And you have the Chief Justice who has the bill of information on her table, the five of them. And I'm going to talk about it, no disrespect to any of them, but watching what has happened in Liberia over the years, we have a right to speak to because history is the antecedent of what's to come. If we retrospect, we know where we have been, we can easily project where we are going to go based on what Liberia has been, right? So we go back to October time where they were trying to remove uh, um, a senator, which they ended up removing him. Okay. And then we came to Dothan where they were trying to remove a chief justice, where you call today Chair Chipo. Chair Chipo, that's not Chair Chipo original name. Okay. You're at Chair Chipo for your original name. He's Chetson. He was Chetson.
Yes.
Yes, he was a Chetson. He was raised by Chetson. They sent him to school. Okay. And they, in fact, during that time, when the people said give him an opportunity to resign, they said no. They did not want him to resign. They wanted to disgrace him. They wanted to remove him. We saw that happen in real time with Cabinet Janet. I was one of those people when people were saying, oh, it's a Muslim thing, it's a Madingo thing. I said, no, it's not a Muslim thing, it's not a Madingo thing. It's a Liberian thing. We have to speak as Liberian. When we find that unity that we are Liberian first, we are able to diffuse anything that comes that challenge our development, collective development. I'm not talking about greater enroll and taking $20 million. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, in science, we say in that you study the human mind, so you study science per se. We have something so all living things grow and develop, meaning reach your maximum potential. Okay. So whenever I speak on development, I'm talking about the human capital. You can build all the skyscraper in Liberia. Liberians would never participate in it except for the few group who have gone out of stealing or loot somehow, either by stealing, doing black market with the logs in the country, with the gold in the country, the diamond in the country, the sand in the country, or being in government who got a percentage of all the other institution in the country. They are getting their kickback in the back. They are the children that are enjoying. 80% of Liberian will never be able to experience. And this is not to say somebody would say she's a hater. Call me anything you want to call me. Because you know what? I can get on the plane today and go to Dubai if I want to and come back tomorrow. Okay. I'm not rich, but I'm considering America middle class. I've earned my space. So has that. You saw us the other day. Okay. We had a lot of time. We went and played on the beach and came right back.
Mm-hmm.
So when the talk goes, you're jealous, I just laugh at them. All right. So when you are a leader and you are a human being, you think about the greater goods of the world, the greater goods of your nation. And the essence of politics is the interest of a nation, the larger community. When you talk about the Socrates, when you talk about the Plato, when you talk about what do you call it, Alexander the Great, the Pharaoh, Ramses, okay? Even when you go to Greek, it was about the nation, not an individual. So we want to know here. You have a certain justice, chief justice, who has a decision on her table to be made. All right. Her daughter, I heard people yesterday, and that this one I can carry it on my own, my sister. He
Mhm.
said, oh, she's a nurse. He's a doctor. They make money. The last I checked, nurses don't make that much money, don't even make money in Liberia. The last I checked, doctors don't even make $3,000 in Liberia. I'm saying it. I said they've been lying. Okay? Unless they're in a position where they got their own clinic, where they're taking everything and carrying it to that clinic and selling it like Wilhelmina Jala. I'm the one saying it. Because Wilhelmina Jala have been sued so many times. The US government talked about how much million they were giving to the country for medical help, and that money was not reaching down to the people. So now I see, and let me do the disclaimer. If you're from Nimakante, don't come in my inbox and tell me you're talking about Jeremiah Kun and he's a Nimbali and that your brother. Yes, he is. But he's a vice president of Liberia. As such, I'm a Liberian citizen like any other citizen. Okay. He has an obligation, okay, to the nation, first and foremost, before to any particular county, holistically speaking. So, as an advocate, I am, and as a mother and as a woman, I am. If if at all they reach out to Jeremiah Kun, knowing, okay, and I think it's taking advantage of stuff, whether they've been friends forever. Any ethical person would have said, I would love to have my brother over or my friend over, but as it stands, I can't have my mom and him in the same place because my mother is the justice in this country. You don't see Supreme Court justices mangling all over the place unless they have an official duty. Yes, I get it, you're a mother, but you have taken off. You are taking a higher responsibility in the land. So it's not just but you showing up to be proud anymore. It's about distinction. It's about ethical environment. What, Doc, I want to know what drives, if at all you have seen, our decision as leader in our community, what drives our leaders? If anybody there who can answer me and Dr. Richardson here, y'all please let us know. Is there a standard of morality that everyone is held by? Because yesterday you were crying for cabinet general removal. You were crying about changing data plan. Today, the very people who were taking the lead yesterday, the very people are cursing people on Facebook today. The very people are justifying what is happening today. Like Mo Ali. Okay. So that what's your thought on that? Let's have this conversation. I know you've been having this conversation all week long about the court case, the justice, the lawmakers, and where we are and where Liberia stands in this moment in time.
Absolutely. And then let me address the justice issue first because this was the issue that a lot of people felt, um, that I was on in the wrong, but I still stand my ground. And as people know, that I always say, you can say jump, but I don't have to say how high. I don't even say how high. I'm not that kind of person. I'm coming from a place, a very ethical and moral place.
Yep.
Okay, a place where you don't see that. Okay, remember Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch on the termite at the
Yes.
time. Loretta
Yes.
Lynch was the attorney general for this country, just the
Yep.
attorney general, not even the Supreme Court,
Yes. Attorney General. Yep.
not
Yep.
even the Supreme Court judge. And it was a big news. Okay, not people wanted to know what did they discuss. What was happening? Why was he meeting when his wife was in a race?
Yep.
Okay, and this is
Yep.
what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about. You cannot have it rumored that the executive branch is behind, is masterminding the removal of a speaker. And to me, who it is does not matter. The name of the person does not matter to me. A speaker. of the house.
Exactly. Me neither. Me neither.
Yes, you cannot have that. And then you see a picture, the optics, the perception just does not look well in our country. And the reason why it doesn't look well, because historically, that's what has happened. A few
Yes.
group of people who are in certain echelon, we call it the bishops in our country, they have
Hmm.
gotten together and made the rules of our country, excluding, you know, the majority or excluding the population. So
Hmm.
for me, okay, for me, it did not look well to me. It did not look well to me to see the vice president and the Supreme Court Chief Justice hanging out together. She may have meant well, he may have meant well, but the ethics, the optics just did not look great at all. And there's a reason why we have ethical guidelines. And you see me, I talk about this. We are not perfect people. We are
Nope.
bound to make mistakes as human beings. Nobody's perfect. There's a reason why when I grade papers, you see me, you know this, that sometimes students just put a number on the paper. I don't even know their names. Okay, there's a
Yep.
reason why. Because they know that I, as a human being, can be subjected to being biased. Sometimes it's just a matter of somebody just raising their hand 2 or 3 times in a classroom, and then you, in fact, there's been a social psychologist study on that professors tend to favor the people who raise their hand more, the boys especially.
We
Who,
actually do
yes, who raise their hand more in
because
class.
we're human beings. Yes. Hmm.
Yes, boys.
Hmm.
So you have this ethical guideline that says you cannot fraternize, you cannot associate yourself. You cannot be in a company. Like I can't go to the parties of my students. I cannot. If they come to my office, I keep my office door open. That's a whole another thing we'll discuss. Okay, I cannot be in a discussion. Okay, if I enter the class earlier, they are having a discussion. I go ahead and go up on my business. I'm hearing what they're saying though, because that's just a smart thing to do. Okay, whether it's discussing whatever me or somebody else or whatever, I'm here, but that's just a smart thing to do. So this is why we have these ethical principles, these ethical guidelines to help shape us in our decision making. And when we make our decision making, ethics help us to be fair, it helps us to be transparent, it helps us in to be clear in our decision making process so that we won't create this sense of biasness. Okay. And that's all we're trying to say. Yeah, we know Liberia needs a playground for the children. Well, children don't have any entertainment. I'm a grandmother. I know one day I'll be abundantly blessed and I'll take my grandson to Liberia. I want him to see the good things, the same thing that he has here. I want good for Liberia. But the manner, I wasn't even talking about that. That's not even the issue. The issue is it is not okay. It is not ethical. It's not even that okay, it's not even the word. Okay. It is not ethically acceptable to see the vice president and the chief justice fraternizing or hanging out
At
together.
this time,
At this,
especially at this time. Yes.
especially this time, especially at this time when we have a
Hmm.
constitutional crisis, when he has been accused, okay, as the leader of the Senate. The Senate has also been accused because they have taken sides. The executive branch have been accused, okay, of taking sides because they actually I allowed members of the executive branch to meet with the majority of the anti-law. And let me just clarify, I call them anti-rule of law because they are not going by the rule of law of the House. Some people get mad about that. That's why I call it anti. If you anything you don't go by, you're anti the thing. So that's
That is correct. That is
yeah,
correct.
you don't go by the rule of law that you decided that you are going to take an oath to obey. If you don't go by that, then you anti the rule, you anti rule of law, and that's why I call them to get angry and say, "Oh, why am I calling them anti rule of law?" So yes, that's why I call you guys anti rule of law because you are not abide by the oath that the rules that you told the Liberian people that you're going to abide by. Okay, so that's why I call them. Yes. So back to you, Cindy.
Thank you, Doc. Yes. Yes. This week, it was this week that I came back from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because remember I told you the state were coming to my school.
Yeah.
So when the state left, the district coordinator wrote a note because when they were in my class, it was at least I have 30 kids. That particular class, my bigger class is at 32. So this particular class had 30 kids. But only about three of the kids were answering, literally doing the interaction, answering the question. So
Mm-hmm.
the recommendation was, how about, you know how we do this ice cream stick and you write the name of the students on it and
Mm-hmm.
you pick, then you are not pointing at the same person over and over. Like I'm just speaking to what you just said, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
my assistant principal, which is the department head, because each assistant principal has a department, then the principal is like will be like the provost or something for
Mm-hmm.
university per se.
Yeah, yeah.
And she came in, she said that, she said, okay, everything went well, but here are some of the recommendation I need to be made because we want to hear from majority of the student. We don't want to hear one student over and over because it creates some sort of bias because you know that child will always have your back, you know, and we are human. And that's some of the things you're speaking to. So if I choose a number, I want the likelihood I would pick out of 32 the same stick all the time is not possible. I may
Correct.
pick it one or twice, but
Correct.
it gives the other children, even when they're shy, an opportunity to say, I know, I don't know, then you can give them the help, right? So we're
Correct.
talking about ethics. Um, I'm sitting here and thinking,
And you see that? I don't mean to
go
interrupt.
ahead, go ahead. Mhm.
Yes. And what makes this even more important for our nation, and I hope that our followers are also thinking that the way we're thinking, there is a bill of information
Mhm.
that Fanati Kofa and his team filed. And the reason why they filed
Now,
that bill,
please explain where that bill of information is, what it means, so our
yes.
people can hear
So
you.
so after the Supreme Court ruled on who is the legitimate um, block, okay, the legitimate speaker of the House of Representatives, Fanati Kofa went back to the Supreme Court and said, listen, I was duly elected, but this other group of people are saying that they have their own speaker. They are now meeting and having hearings. All of what they are doing are illegal. Okay. So can you please, I'm asking you court to please make a decision on who's in the right and who's in the wrong. I've come to work every Tuesday and Thursday. Me and the 35 persons have been sitting here. We are the minority, okay? They consider themselves the people that have a lot of individuals that come, and so they
Right,
are doing things. For example, they have um, declared their own speaker. They have put a couple of us. They have actually suspended a couple of us and expelled one or two of us. So, of course, the Supreme Court ruled that any sittings, okay, any meetings that was held without a speaker or in the absence of a speaker or a majority, a minority, I mean, the deputy speaker, in the absence of the speaker, the deputy speaker, is illegal. Okay? So you can have 10,001 people, you can have your 49 block, your lot of majority members. But what consists of a majority member involves the speaker, and in the absence of the speaker, the deputy speaker. That's what I think the Constitution, Article 49 and 36, if I'm not mistaken, says. Okay. So now that's what in the final analysis, that's what the ultra vari, that's where it came from. Okay. Yes. It may not be too clear for, our, which I can fault our justice system, and that may not be clear for my mom, Miriam, or whatever, but it was very clear. So a couple of days later, the Minister of Justice gave his own interpretation of the
mhm,
Constitution ruling, which was to many legal scholars completely opposite of what the justice, the Chief Justice said. The, he ruled, or his interpretation was, oh, the court was in favor of the anti-rule of law individuals, and the court never said any of that. So there's these differences that is occurring in our House of Representatives that is keeping the Liberian work hostage. Okay, and when we say the executive have taken sides, the executive have intentionally sent people to this group, this other anti-rule of law group, to make decisions. In fact, they send the budget of our country to this individual, and that's what we mean by the executive have taken sides. And if you think about it, the Minister of Justice is supposed to provide legal advice to the president. So definitely, it sounds like he's been advising the president, just go ahead and send your budget. Just go ahead and let them have the hearing. So that's what the bill of information comes in. So from that to say, like we've been sitting here abiding by the rules. We have not taken any action. We've been in our meetings. We've been in our sittings. So we want you to please clarify this bill of information for us. And so now this is on the desk of the Chief Justice. She is supposed to sign off on the bill of information in order for her other members, the other justices, to then, come together and start writing for the Liberian people to understand what they meant, okay, in the ruling, since it appears that people are somewhat confused and there's the disagreement in terms of what they meant. And so you have that happening, and then you see the vice president and the chief justice who has work on her desk relating to the Republic of Liberia constitutional crisis. She didn't do that yet, and now we see them smiling and taking pictures. She may have well intentions, she may mean well, but the issue is here the optics, the perception, and the history of our country, the context in which they presented this stuff. So that's what the Bill of Information means, you Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you. And folks, let me say this. It's not just the vice president that were accused. The the justices were also accused, hmm, of taking 900,000 that was supposed to have been delivered allegedly by the port manager, Dukley. Okay. The argument that came after that accusation was made was that, oh, 900,000 cannot fit in a car. His car is small. 900,000 in a what do you call it, in $100 bill can fit in this backpack. I just want you to tell you, so you don't need a truck to tow it. They're not Liberian dollar. In the simplest form, you see right here, this is a backpack. 900,000 US dollar in the $100 bill can fit in this backpack when you put it in, because the backpack is spread out. Yes, that's it. And I can even tell you the way, because I did all of the research before I spoke. So nobody came back to counter. So the mere fact that the justices have been accused by the Liberian people, letting them know that they're taking money. Okay. We have not heard the Minister of Justice when the accusation was made that this majority bloc were camping at RLJ at $200 per night. That with ESL is questionable. It's unethical. All right. Two, where are they getting the money from? We need to see the source of the money. Are there people offering them the hotel free? And if it is so, they are not supposed to accept based on the code of conduct. That's why the question comes to play. What are the principles that guide their decision process? Okay, if there are any rules for that matter. So they were in that place. They have been in that place for almost 2 months. 2 months. That almost 60 days at $200 a day, about 40 some more people. Your calculator, how much money that it can build a school. It can build a school. And not only that, they were accused of sharing money coming from what, water and silver with Mo Ali, that were given to them to divide among themselves. Some people show it. We have live video. And to couple with that, one of the lawmakers at the house said this was about money. That's what he said, right? He said this was about money. It's not about. And folks, let me tell you something. I think all of you know about this. I'm not a fan of Kofa. Never have been. All right. I think everybody deserves a second chance. He was given a second chance to go to Liberia to do what is right. When he left from here, whatever he did with his second chance, that's on you. It's not for me to pass that. The people who believe in him elected him. These very people elected him to be a speaker. Okay. And based on what this man said, the only reason that they were moving him out is this. That I'm going to play it, and I'm going to come back to the talk, because I want Liberian people to hear in their own word. So this leadership, I'm telling you, we don't want well, yeah, them, all of them hear agreement. leadership will have special section. The Senate are receiving 100%. We are receiving 40%. So in essence, these are the people who are talking and telling you, and some of you are on Facebook and insulting. Like yesterday, I got insulted. In fact, when I pull up the person who was insulting me, a grown old man from Lofa County who was insulting me, asking if my father ever or my mother ever, how you call it, even if my mother did not, I am. Talk to me. I am. And I am the woman your mother will never be. I am the woman that your daughter will never be, because you don't have, even if you don't have the guts, I know your daughter does not. So, but I will not going to come to your level. So the point we are making here is, if you have people talking that day, we have not gotten the Senate to call for hearing. What they can call him? What was he it's implying? What is the thought process behind that? So they are not saying they're moving Kofa because the budget that was sent by the executive does not reflect the will of the people, the need of the people. That's not what they're saying. They're saying they want a speaker that will advocate for them and forget about the people that they want to serve. Have Funani served the people? That's a question for a different day. That day that I can talk about between them. All right. So if you go out, the decision maker, the woman whose one signature with a team of them will determine the forward march of Liberia or the stagnation of Liberia. It's co-mingling or mingling with the vice president have been accused. They have been accused. The public is watching and they're dead. Jeremiah should not have been there. He should not ever allow people to put him in that kind of predicament. I don't think he needed to be there. Even sending Yo herself, the justice. Yes. And not too long ago, in a newspaper release, she said the money that they were paying them were not enough. And she need her own too, like everybody else. She said that it was in one of the front page Africa or one of those newspaper 2 months in a row where little boy were talking about it all through. All right. But I will find that newspaper, I will find it and post it. All right. With all of this combination, okay, of unethical thought process or utterances, any ethical person will start thinking, what is this about? Not just beside the optics, okay? The ethical environment. It's that show bias, that show a compromise ethics, because you're in a place that you could be compromised. We don't know. Somebody say, I heard what Nisno say yesterday. Oh, but it was just one time, and I heard what your name Dwalutu said at one time. It don't take 2 times to be compromised. It takes only 1 time. You don't need 2 or 3 times. You don't need a follow-up. Okay? We don't know what was said before they met over there publicly. And I'm saying it from me, Yasendi. All right? So we want to know, and then when y'all talk this thing and say it's politics. Politics is about the interest of the people, not individual. We have individualized, and that's why Liberia is stagnant. 200 years, almost 80-90% unemployment. We get government that comes to power. We don't hold them. How many jobs have Waka created since he came to power? How many jobs? Young people, we woke up this morning to Abraham Boni, their body in the street, who were just on Facebook yesterday, laying down in the middle. I don't know if he was there or he was unconscious. And the thing is, and I don't know about your school system in New Jersey, Doc, but here, our 8th grader, all of them in their health class, they learn CPR.
Of course.
Okay? You see the person laying, now touch the pulse and see they have pulse.
Yeah.
Give them breath if you need to.
Yeah.
Okay? If you think maybe that it's contagious, put something between you and them and just dig a little hole in their mouth and give them breath. Or give them chest compression. And see if they can breathe, if they're choking. That's what you need to do. But the moment we saw that boy, they're pronouncing dead. Sad. Now we're saying, Papi Bwaka told us when and he and Dara Dillon and Yomli Kanga told us last year on Spoon, when they win, 6 months, nobody will travel. This old man gets on the plane with gang of people every month, at least twice a month, and go somewhere. But our children don't have schools to go to, no buses to take them to school. They're walking by land. Our girls don't have sanitary pad to wear. Back then, I had taken some sanitary pads up interior. Mothers and fathers were fighting, and their daughters were fighting over it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some things that are private. Okay, so
Yeah.
we come back here to say what drives our decision process as leaders in Liberia, especially those in the Senate, those in the House, and the release from the what do you call it, the justices the other day that talks about vaguely talk about the position of and the role and responsibility of each branch of government. And
Mm-hmm.
then the US embassy came out and told them to settle what it is. When your country get to the point that foreign country are getting involved and telling you how to act, it means they're watching you.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
something, and I say I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah, and
I think
I
we have,
think you said some really really important things here. You said the number one, no amount of insults, lies, cussing, Facebook Live on us, putting our pictures on Facebook, bullying,
mhm,
intimidation will deter us from sharing our thoughts and views on what we believe is true, backed by facts and evidence about the Liberian people situation. We are Liberian, okay? We are Liberians, and Liberia runs through all of us. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that, So when you come and you write stuff on Facebook, it's very funny. It's coming out to us because we call each other and we laugh about it, like because
yep,
you know we are talking about a country where it's on the map for being one of the poorest country in the world. And Yesenia always remind me, said the last time she checked, she said, "Daddy, last time I checked, our country has 95% unemployment rate."
exactly,
Last time she checked, our country uh, it is not donating to the United States. Okay, the United
yep,
States government is the one making is one of the largest
exactly.
donors. Okay, all right. The last time she checked, our health care system is in a deplorable state. And so this is why we come to speak because we love Liberia and we want a better country. And sometimes when you know better, you do better. We know better. We know about ethical standards. Okay, we know how ethical dilemma can occur. We know that we are humans, and we know the reasons why ethical guidelines were developed. And she explained to you, and I explained to us. People have studied this time immemorial how bias can occur because you are human. You are likely to be biased if you're sitting in an environment and you get exposed to certain things, and that's exactly what we're talking about. So, when she talked about the House of Representative, we've never seen that kind of thing before. Okay, and then Liberian people come and say, "Oh, this is Liberian politics."
And
Politics.
this too is Liberia. This
This
is
to
Liberian
Liberia.
politics.
Oh, you're a one percenter. This is
Yeah,
why Alice Cummings does not have to. Neither Lucinia and I have to inhale pollution from generator air.
nope,
Okay,
nope.
okay,
Driving fly before we get eat. Nope.
okay. No, we don't have to do that. So when you don't stick to the issue at hand, okay, it speaks about you as a person. It doesn't speak about us because when we come in, we talk about the issue. The issue that we're talking about right now is what's happening in our House of Representatives and what's happening with the court system and how the optics and perception, given the context of our country, how it looks bad. And even if this lady decide in the favor of Onati, somebody will say something. If she decides in the favor of this executive branch, somebody will say something because of this type of dilemma that has been created. So the thing that you should be looking at today is why is it that these people just simply disregard the Liberian people all the time, since time immemorial? Why is it that they do not respect the citizens to talk? when you face with this kind of ethical dilemma. Okay, this is my my friend Yesenia is having a party, but I know I have to judge a case that is relating to my very good friend Yesenia.
Yeah.
That's an ethical dilemma.
Yeah.
When you go to school, they teach you how to say, okay, if I go to Yesenia party, how the rest of the world will feel about the judgment that I have to make. If I don't go to Yesenia party, how the rest of the world will feel about the decision I'm about to make about her.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those are the two questions you have to ponder. And if you feel that one of those incidents will create hardship for the country, for the oath for which and is violating the oath for which you talk to serve the people, then you do not go. Somebody suggested, yes, you sent somebody in to represent you. There's tons of people in your office that you can send to represent you. All right. And so when you know better, we do know about the ethical implications. This is something that we see every day. They talk about this on different news related to different politicians. And we talk about the situation with Clinton and Loretta Lynch. She was the attorney general at the time.
Yes.
Okay. We talked about that. So, I mean, for somebody to say, it's something that people talk about. For somebody to say, oh, is you only talking because you didn't win the elections or you were supporting somebody who did really, you think I'm concerned? All these, you think I'm concerned about that now?
Exactly.
Now? Does that pay my rent? No, it does not.
Exactly.
Does it send my
Exactly.
kids to school? No. Right now, and that's right now, me and you see, I worry about whole different things relating to our families. That's what we're, when you, yes, we are concerned about Liberia because we have families in Liberia. But
Right.
personally, there's different issues here that are greater, that imminent to us that we worry about. The other issue is when the optics looks like there's conflict of interest, you go through stages of dilemma suffering, solving. Okay, if I'm going to do X, it's going to cause this. If I'm going to do, don't just disregard the Liberian people. They've been disregarded for so long. That's where we are because
Right.
our people have just been this. Nobody speaks to our people. The president traveling, how he traveled, how he got there. Nobody speaks to our people. They're going to raise I mean, they're going to reduce the data, raise the price. Nobody was kind of like, bro, nobody. They got tons and tons of the digital technology these days that they can come and speak that, bro. But nobody would do it. Nobody would do it. Do you see it? That's
So that I made a post the other day and somebody said that sounds like a praising. I said a man who does not have his hand bound, does not have it in full tied, who is walking around or waiting for somebody to come and free them is a slave because mentally you are enslaved, right? Because you
mhm.
can't move to free yourself. And freedom is never given, it's always taken. You want to be free, you got to stand free. Ain't nobody coming save y'all. Okay. And continue to make the same decision every time. Every time. And I see Liberians coming to insult and carry on. It's just for instance, Caroline, we would like to have you here maybe next week so we can talk about your clinic over here, or maybe Thursday or Tuesday. I'm gonna be on here. Um, I can't wait. Friday, I'm gonna be off for like almost 2 weeks. Yeah, that,
I'm already off, girl. that's
oh
that's
my
how you
God, I
stop.
don't know what I would do with myself, but I would
I'm
love
spending
it.
my time.
I'm tired.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
I
spending
need
my
it.
time. There's people be like, "Oh, Dr. Richard on
Yes,
Facebook more than usual." That's because
right.
I'm off from school. I don't have to go
Yeah,
back until I'll tell you another time. But
right.
yes, that's
And
why.
and that's that is I mean, Caroline is saying critical thinking, think critically. The essence of education to be able to think logically and critically, to be able to say with all the what if, the different scenario, you got to play those scenario, what if scenario, to see if this is biased, even if you are not ethically inclined. All right, where I work, I'm not allowed to talk to my children on my
Of
own
course,
phone after hours. I have
you
no
get.
reason to.
That's
Okay,
right.
I have no personal relationship outside of teacher and student relationship with
You
my
have to dress in a certain way,
okay.
right?
I'm not allowed.
Hmm.
I'm not allowed to sell to my students. No,
Yes.
this is I'm knowing Liberia is allowed. I'm not
Hmm.
allowed to get my kids to come work on my farm or to
Hmm.
tell them to purchase my product. Then I will get them grades. I
No,
am not allowed.
remember you said I think we're coming from second. This
But
the
coming from a
famous
secretary that were that were
near that river.
I think
Yeah,
Kami.
river.
No, yeah, Sloan, because it was the Yard River.
Yes, yes. And
Yes,
we saw
mhm.
these kids. Let me just tell you, these kids, it was like midday or so, and we were wondering, why are you not in school? They had a school
Yep,
uniform. And so we started to ask them, and they were telling us that a lot of the students had to leave school to go work on the farms of the teacher, so they didn't come to school. Therefore, the teacher was not there, and there were not enough students in the class for them to maintain
yep,
a class.
yep,
And so we were like, really? And they were like, yeah, the students are working. So that's what you're speaking to. You see, there's certain principles, there's certain ethical guidelines are made to protect us, to
yep,
make sure that we are fair, we are transparent, and we make good decisions that wouldn't impact, the greater population. That's what they're there for. And
yep.
if I have to explain this to you, and you work in with people, and you work in social service, or you work, then like you said, somebody took an exam for you. Somebody
Oh
read a
yeah,
book for you.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Back to back protest loading, and that's a good thing. You know, you see they're answering. Hopefully, like during people and Doctor, we had this conversation while you were on yesterday, back and forth. I was driving, you were live, and we're talking. If the
mhm.
Liberian people are getting to understand their power, they will get their attention. And what Liberian people must understand is Waka has absolutely nothing to lose. He's almost 19 years old. I'm the one who's saying it. I know he's more than 80 years old, and I don't care how old he is. But he is over the what do you call it? The the three score plus one. Okay, so he have lived his life. Now he's living for he and his family. I heard Yaka talking today, hiring people only for hiring them sick, and they're his family, family, and those are the people they're hiring. So the Liberian people need to stand up for themselves. Nobody coming to come save them. That I know it's almost time to go.
Yes.
So Ayuba will be out reporting for us tomorrow. He said he wanted to come in. I was sending you the text. So let's
Okay.
just hear 2 minutes from him, then we'll close. Because Ayuba, let me bring you. We'll hear 2 minutes from you and see what you got, what on your mind, what's going on in Liberia. Then we will go ahead and let you go. Then we will close. And I'm happy that you're well though. He was down for like almost 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And he
Sorry.
had to, yeah, his father was also sick. He took his dad to India,
Oh, wow.
and he brought his dad back.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry to, yeah. Are you there?
He
That's the
came
thing with
on.
the Liberia.
I am telling you, and this is what we talk about. This is what we talk for. And
Who going to do business here? Who going to do business when almost of the thing with people, you got people on plane and your phone is working. I'm in flight and I'm talking to Doc in flight, talking to my husband in flight. You're sitting down in your country and the internet don't work.
it's frustrating, very frustrating.
Then you hear people say, well, you're not bringing business. Put in the infrastructure and we'll bring business. That can I can come and create a company and say, you know what, we want to go to Capital One. Capital One, we want you to build a call center in Liberia. Here is our workforce. This is how much money you will save. All right. We can go to but the thing is too, company not coming to your country when your legal system does not work, when the ethical environment is in the toilet, in my direct long voice, yeah, but my own that true light, consistency. Nobody come and do business with you. The
Mhm.
people that will want to do business with you will be not reputable people, will be people who coming to take you for a ride. So, in essence, I will finish, then you will close her up. Let me
Mhm.
say to you, I know tomorrow there's a protest going on in Liberia. There will be press conferences going on tomorrow at the Capitol. If you're in Liberia, we say go fight and you care about the future of your children. I'm not talking about yourself, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephew. Go to the Capitol tomorrow and stand with the people. Okay? Go there, add your voice peacefully that you want your data back. And two, the lawmakers need to get to work and they need to start stealing from you. You also need to demand that these people reduce their salary. Nobody in Liberia need to be making 5,000. Before I say somebody making 7,000, then turn around collecting $3,600 for gas, $2,000 for a calling card. Why do you think that person who getting down will advocate for you to get a good telecommunication system that is free? Why do you think that person will advocate for you to have gas that is reasonable. When they are profiting, they're making almost $10,000 a month. You think that person will want to give up his $10,000 a month for you? You have to demand it and you got to take it. That's the way it works. Um, Honorable Senator, me and Doc advocate for women's right. We want women in places because women have always been the change maker. Ma, we're not trying to drag you. We are looking for you to be the change all around the world, even for people to penetrate and bring change, even in this America. The people who led this country to allowed the settler that came in here to settle were women who ended up having children with an income, and the children became the leaders. Women use their heart, their empathy, their compassion, their psychic, because women got antenna, they got more than six senses to make decisions that will impact. If today your daughters are okay, your children are okay, but guess what? If tomorrow comes and something goes wrong, we will all be left in the crossfire as we did as children for 14 years. So, my sister, our honorable justice, moving forward, please make decisions that reflect the future of all Liberians. Y'all be the change and open the doors so people can say women leader can bring change. We watched the men for 150, 160 years. We are just coming in. We are saying this in the interest of our nation, not because we do not. In fact, Dr. Richardson was the first to commend you for your decision. And I'm adding my voice to that. When you take the right path, we will support you. When you storm your tour, we'll call you out. So you rectify that. It's not out of hate, it's out of love. The love of nation, putting our people first. So you're present over there, especially at this point. And your daughter would have do the official opening another day if that was that important. Or uninvited the vice president. However way it went. But the optics, and if to me it's unethical, it is unethical. Like if I were proctoring a SAT or district test and I meet up with some of the children in my class the day before or 1 week before. In fact, they would not even allow me to proctor. I would be compromising myself. That's
Yes.
why when I see my student in the street, I say hello and pass. I said those who have graduated
Hmm.
because I don't need that connection. So this
Absolutely.
is what we're speaking for. We're speaking for moral standing. We're speaking from the principle of rule of law and ethics.
Yes.
Thank you, Doc. Your turn. Yes.
Yes. Actually, Cindy, well said. Very, very well said. As you probably noticed, you see that our women, we are mothers, we are grandmothers. So we didn't come here to, speak badly of another woman. We came here to speak the fact of how we saw it, the perception and the ethical guidelines that could have been used to avoid uh, bias in the situation she found herself in. Yes, we want her to attend her daughter's event. We just wanted her to take into consideration what the Liberian people may have thought about the situation. As you know, when three of you decided the court case involving the House of Representatives, I congratulated you. I congratulated the women that was involved because I know women, given the right opportunity and time, they can make great decisions for our country. So if you come here and you do what is right, we'll praise you. But I don't think we'll be great friends and sisters to you if you did something that didn't look great at all or it's not in the best interest of Liberia. And then we're still cheering you on. I don't think you would like that. I wouldn't like for you to do that to me. So on this day, we're just telling you that the optics look bad, the perception is bad, given the context of what Liberia is going through. we would have liked for you to think thoroughly of your decision, and and that's where I stand with that. I want to just thank all of you. We didn't have the chance to call people who are here today, Cindy, for joining
Hmm.
the show. And the thing for
Yes.
me for the show is, please, leaders in our country, and the thing for you guys as well is to encourage our leaders to continue to speak to Liberian people. Don't disregard their feelings and their views and their thoughts on issues. Tomorrow, it is Liberian people's right to stand up and tell
Hmm.
their leaders how they feel. Whether they dislike people reducing their data and increasing the prices, it is their right to do that. All we're asking you for is to behave, call your family member, let them be a peaceful protest. Democracy demands peace, transparency, fairness. Democracy does not demand violence sometimes. And I say that sometimes with a lot of interpretation in my voice. Sometimes. So I want to close today by just saying to you guys, thank you for joining us. It was a great conversation, and we'd like for you to come and join us again next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dad. So we'll see you next week. I will be here Tuesday evening if I'm not attending. Folks, let me just tell you something. December, there are a lot of function going on. If you're a parent, if you're an educator, between December and May, that's our busy, busy month. That will tell you school is closing, the final credits are going up.
Yes, I
Uh,
was
you got
had
the
a
closing,
great
like orchestra, job, the different extra curriculum. Okay.
you
So
got
we
Christmas.
are out.
Look,
Huh?
yeah, you got Christmas. Oh, let me tell you, let me share with you something, and it's okay. The audience can hear this. As we go through this whole parenting stage, now I have older daughters, and you get into that place where you do have your daughter that very parallel to my daughters as well.
Yeah.
Um, sometimes we have to get our mind ready for. It's like you always feel like you're a parent to them, but you have to get your mind ready to be a friend to them as well, to be able to talk.
Yeah, that is the most perplexing and complex
Yes,
stage.
yes, it is.
That the thing is, I'm glad you came right at the time that I needed it because you grew up here, I grew up in Liberia. My kids used to tell me overly straight, annoying, helicopter mom. I want to be in everything. I want to be checking behind them, and even the mindset of I'm going out with my friends. You can't stay out past 12 o'clock. You will say let them try. Let you know where they are at all times.
Yeah.
So long as you know it, that's okay. But go ahead. I just wanted
Yeah,
for us,
yeah, and so even the idea,
American parents,
yeah,
American Liberian parents.
but even
Please.
the idea of them going out, and as they're not young, my oldest is 26, my second oldest is 24,
Mhm.
and my youngest is 18, and just to them,
Preferably, that to tell you the truth, at 24, I was already married.
there you go, you see, but
So
yeah,
I have my husband have to remind me today when I was talking, and he's like, "Yeah, she's 24. Remember where you were at 24?"
yeah, that's yeah, and
I'm
that's
waiting
it's,
because he's
but
here.
let me just tell you why I'm bringing. I want the audience to, you can also join this conversation because this is the humanist. A lot of times we see everything as us all politics. So yeah, you met your nephew-in-law during the thing,
Yes, I did. I did.
and
With it, Mr. N. Yes.
and so of course, and so it's
I
something to
mean
get.
Mr. M. Yes. Hmm.
Yes,
Yes.
it's something for all of us to get used to, because here it is, you raise this child and you didn't raise them to come and have these conversations like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend now," or "You got to meet my boyfriend," and "Oh, my boyfriend is coming
Yes.
for Christmas."
Oh, I have a girlfriend, mommy. And yes. Hmm.
Yes, I have a girlfriend, and so I'm like, how am I supposed to take this? So I mean, it's good that we have husbands who are they can help us see things, So boyfriend's coming for Christmas, obviously. And I'm like freaking out. Is this okay? How long is the boyfriend going to be? Where is he going to stay? Blah, 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 blah. Did you tell your father? Did you tell your father?
You know your daughter, right? She will tell you. Don't worry
Oh,
about it. In
oh
fact,
yeah.
you may not even have to ask. She will let you know and lay out all the rules for you.
Well, she sure did. She sure did. But the thing about it, so
Oh,
so I said, well, go ahead.
just tell her until I just love you.
And she said, I said, go talking to your father. Don't try talking to me. So your father, whatever your father said that wow, going. And in the
Oh,
beginning, that's what he said to you. Just what he
yes.
said to you. He said, you know what? You have to think that we did our jobs as parents.
Yeah, but that is good though, that it's you that they come to. This you that they
Yes, yes,
called, or you and your husband, their father that they called. So it's a good
yes.
thing.
Yes, and
But
I just he said to me, he said, at least they're coming to tell us. She came
us,
to
yeah, they're not taking it
tell us.
from their friends. You remember that
Yes.
time that they wanted to hang out with their friends, it's only the friends that they want to, but now
Mhm.
they want to come and talk to you.
Yeah.
Is that it?
So
So we are grateful for that. It's just
yes,
it's harder for us trying to make the transition. It's very
because
difficult, but it's
because
a
the way
part of
they were
life.
raised, the way we were raised in our era, what people go to our parents, you see, now, well,
Yes, yes, but we have to change the way things has. I guess that's why we kept, going. Like I said, for me at this point, the 24, I was already married, so
mhm,
I
yes,
and I've forgotten. Like, say, have to remind me today to say, but
hmm
you remember, you were already married.
yeah.
Yeah, with a child too. So,
So the
so
parenting for us
yes,
right now is that you just just it's transitioning.
yes, it is.
Parenting
It is. It
also
is.
is a
I think
transition.
maybe that's the same way our parents felt, but
Yes,
yes, it is.
yes,
It is good. So
yes. So to those of you who are out there, just know that there'll be stages in your parenting to your
yes,
children. Not just
yeah,
one
there
relationship.
are. There
Something
are. You
from,
must transition. Yeah,
from
and
a
be
mother to
supportive
another
of that.
mother to sisters, from
Yeah,
a sister to another sister. That's what it is, okay? And you fathers out there that join us, support your
yeah,
wives and also
yes.
take something from what we just said to you as well. All right, you see there. I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna go
Thank
focus
you, Doc,
on
and thank you for all of you who tune in to support. And yes, we're supporting the protest for the people to go out. I am supporting them to go out and exercise their right because they're being abused. Okay. And I'm gonna stop right here. Y'all have a good day. We are out. Protest is enshrined in the Constitution. It's a part of the Constitution. It is the right of the people. When they hire you, the people that they hired, they have the right to come out and petition them.